they got like 2 feet. Like I don't
That's a good
understand.
point.
And also, all right, I don't know. Like, okay, I wouldn't have written this horse into the story as much as it is, but here we are. The horse is here. If you're forcing, if I was a writer on this team and they forced me to include this horse, there's no way Isildur's not going after that horse. I am sorry. What the heck? I know it's risky. I know, but that horse saved you from spiders.
Yeah.
That horse didn't go home to Numenor. It traveled Middle Earth looking for you, saved you from spiders, and then you led it into an ambush like an idiot. Like the idiot you are, Isildur. I hate Isildur. Anyway, he better go after that horse. And then no, we're gonna just follow this archer dude. He's cool. Let's go with him. I can't believe it. This guy sucks. I don't know how we're ever supposed to root for Isildur. I hated him in season 1. I hate him now. Not the actor's fault. I think the actor's doing a fine job. This character is just terrible. He's got a horrible attitude, and he's got no skill set, and he's stupid. Like he's got the trifecta. He's terrible. I don't want him making decisions. I don't want him around other characters. He's gonna make them worse. He makes his dad worse. His dad's way better. I'm sorry. His dad's better off with him dead. But unfortunately, he lived, and we all know how that turned out for poor Frodo. So this character is oh my god, he's the true villain. Look, sexy Sauron is not the true villain of the story. It is Isildur. I am 100% against Isildur. I cannot believe how bad this character is. Oh man.
I mean, I like to think he's planning to go after it later. They need to regroup a bit. But
Oh,
yeah, you're right.
He is planning. You're right. How long are we gonna wait? These guys are getting away by the second. I know you can't chase down a horse. I know, but I would just start following that track. Like I'm gonna go all the way to this town, and then come all the way back, and then pick up the trail. No, my horse is dead at that point. I have to go now. I'm not leaving them. I'm not leaving this horse to the fate of these Adar-loving freaks. I'm going after the horse right now. So oh man, I don't understand. And Arondir, I know he's in a mood. I cannot believe he doesn't help. Like, he's just in a mood. You're right. He's just. I know we know why. We're about to get to it, but like, come on, man. This is all these characters are just. They're just not. They're not in a good space. So let's talk about Arondir and why he might not be too happy and keen to go.
Well, it's revealed that Bronwyn has died.
Yes.
And we have a pyre, and he's hesitating to light the pyre. We had some flashbacks seeing her, and then that's to let us know that this is who's in that.
Yeah.
Whose body is wrapped there. And Arondir, he's like hesitating to light the pyre, and then Theo comes in and just grabs the torch and lights it.
I actually like that.
He's got places to go.
Yeah, no, I actually like that scene. I think that scene is done well.
Yeah.
They actually let it breathe a bit, which at first I was worried. I'm like, how long are we gonna do this pyre scene? Is anything gonna happen here? But no, the whole like Theo coming in and like doing it quicker, is great. It shows all these different character traits that we are having in Arondir and Theo, and we're gonna get to more of them very soon. But yeah, so I think this scene is done beautifully. Now, you and I were questioning when we saw the trailer and when we heard the news that Bronwyn the actress wouldn't be coming back. She took a step back from acting. We're like, are they gonna recast her? Are they gonna just have her like off camera during scenes? Like you could try that. They just killed her off. Bold choice, because they were trying to make this a human elf relationship.
Yeah, and I think it's a little sad. I think
it's really sad. It's really sad. I agree.
I mean, you want to think like, hey, this is gonna work for the first time ever. We have a human elf relationship, and it works. But no, it ends in tragedy.
It ends in tragedy. But I will say their hand was forced, but I am glad that it for some people who didn't know this was coming, the people that are more casual fans, they would have been caught off guard, and I know from talking to them, they were caught off guard, and like, holy crap, they killed off Bronwyn. I was like, yeah. And I explained why, but like in that moment, they were shocked, and they all of a sudden were like paying attention, like what the hell's going on, what happened? So, I think these moments are something that Game of Thrones tapped into, and most shows fail to do, which is you can't always just have the heroes or the protagonists like barely make it out and then be fine. Sometimes they need to have consequences that are longer lasting and sometimes permanent, like this one.
I know, but maybe it would have made more sense to actually kill her in the first season on the table, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if they had known she was going to take a step back, they would have given her a proper death.
Yeah.
Here we just get her.
Because she did seem better after.
They even mentioned it in the show. They're like, oh man, she was getting better, and then she took a turn for the worse or something like that. And it's like, yeah, it's sad. We know why. Like we know the behind the scenes, and so we weren't caught off guard. But I was intrigued that they went with the she's just dead, and they didn't try to like have her be somewhere else for a bit, and maybe recast her, or maybe just have Theo leave, and we don't follow her. We follow Theo and Arondir. Maybe she's asked Arondir to go with Theo somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, so they go off together, and she's still okay somewhere else leading a small town. Like, the people need me here type of thing. Interesting that they did actually kill her off. And it is sad, but like I said, I think it's important to have shows that have consequences where things happen to characters and it's permanent and sometimes death, and it makes you realize that, you know, things can happen to these characters. It's not always going to be okay. Because that's the issue I have with characters like Galadriel, like Elrond. We know they're going to be okay. Isildur as well. I hate Isildur. He ain't going to die in this show. I know that for certain. 100% certain he's not dying in this show. So they can't fake me out with Isildur. I've seen him. I've seen what he does in the future.
But I mean, it did make me think. I feel like, who knows when it's gonna happen, but Arondir, he could be off doing something else in the main trilogy, but I think they might have to kill him off at some point to explain why this really badass, important elf guy who's in the center of everything isn't also in the center of the next saga.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those, like, I think Star Wars community had this situation where it's like, hey, we need to kill these characters off.
Star Wars has this issue with Ahsoka because why is she not in the main trilogy? And yeah, they did that in Rogue One. They killed everyone off to explain why.
Yeah.
And then for
perfectly done.
You never watched Rebels or Ahsoka, but Dave Filoni had a bunch of characters, like a main character, Azra, who's also a Jedi. And you need to explain, like, okay, you have this other Jedi, how come he's not interacting with Luke? They don't kill him, but they, like, just blast him into another universe.
Wait, another universe?
Not another galaxy. But,
so can... okay, we're getting sidetracked, but real quick, can they not travel intergalactically in Star Wars?
I think with really far, they can't, yeah.
Okay, so somehow he got blasted to another galaxy, and so...
Yeah, where they, like, you can't go with the technology they have.
So that you can only stay within your own galaxy.
You can travel because they do it in the Ahsoka show. Spoilers, sorry. But it's like very special circumstances. Like they built like a special machine, and they like follow the trail of like these space whales that they copied hyperspace from. That's how they were able to do it.
You know what? Okay, this is gonna be a funny little anecdote, but the way you describe that and like space whales and
Yeah, there's space whales in Star Wars now. Yeah.
what all I can think of when you're saying this is this kind of seems like what it must be like to be in Scientology, where like on the surface, like okay, there's like the surface normal stuff, and then when you get deeper, it's just insane. Like
Yeah, there's
space whales, like that's a Rick and Morty joke. What are you talking about?
Is that a Rick and Morty joke? Yeah, Star Wars unironically has space whales, and that's how.
So
we
that
got
Rick and
the-
Morty joke is legit a joke about Star Wars having space whales.
To be honest, I don't know what came first. That's a good question. You have to look up what comes first, Rick and Morty or the Rebels show. But yeah, there is maybe Dave Filoni stole it from Rick and Morty. But there are space whales, and these space whales are what inspired hyperspace in the first place, because these space whales like do hyperspace.
Okay, I know Dave Filoni is beloved, so I'm not gonna hit him too
Well,
hard.
some people don't like him. Well,
Oh.
one of them. But I
Okay, that's definitely
I,
a video topic then, because we gotta get into that.
the nerdrotic and all the people there, they don't like Dave Filoni at all.
Wait, I thought they
but-
did like. I thought he was making the good shows and everyone else made the bad shows. Like, they liked
No,
The
they've-
Mandalorian.
They like Mando season 1. Then they've turned on. They think Dave Filoni's a hack, and that he has no talent. And
But they loved him before.
well, they changed their minds.
Ah. Okay, we definitely need to do a video on that because that's really interesting. And I have some thoughts because like we might be seeing a foreshadowing to Peter Jackson and Andy Serkis with their movie in the future, depending on how they handle it, right? Because in this day and age, with all these details that you need to get just right, otherwise they're gonna make a whole video essay hating on your show.
You're right. I wonder will they turn on Peter Jackson now? Because
Yeah.
they already don't really like The Hobbit, and if Jackson releases another like thing that's not good, they'll think he's a hack.
Yep.
The only reason he was able to do what he did was because he was working off Tolkien source material.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so stay tuned for that discussion because that's going to be interesting. So yeah, I won't go too much more into it, but yeah, so essentially there are situations here, like you said with Arondir, where maybe some of these characters need to die for it to make sense later on. Now my question would be, could Arondir maybe have left at some point between the so maybe he was part of the battle where Isildur eventually defeats Sauron, and Sauron or Isildur keeps the ring. I shouldn't have to say spoilers to that because that's the prologue to the Fellowship.
No. It's okay.
Like, just in case, spoilers, I guess. But so maybe Arondir was around for that, but potentially between the losing of the ring by Isildur and the finding of the ring with Gollum, perhaps Arondir leaves at that point.
Maybe Arondir ends up in I'm forgetting the name now, but Elf Heaven, the other one, where they
yeah.
Valhalla,
Yeah.
not Valhalla,
Not
but
Valinor.
Valinor. Maybe around. Maybe they give him a happy ending. He goes to Valinor.
Maybe he's done great work and he's been given a chance to go to Valinor and he goes and you know, so he might not have to die. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this character now because we're jumping ahead. We'll get to that. Where what is his character supposed to do going forward? But first we got to talk about the dwarves because the two Durins are talking for the first time.
Yeah, they're talking about this guy. His name in the subtitles is Narvi. He approaches King Durin III. He says there's a food supply, and merchants are petitioning to open the royal granary. And if you open the granary, there'll be 3 months' supply of food. And then this is when Durin IV enters, because he's going to be the guy who demands this, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he presents the ring idea to the king, and he finally apologizes for disrespecting Durin III. And during the fourth also comments that, or counsels his dad that he doesn't trust this power in Aragion.
And it says you
And
might have been right that the elves' fate shouldn't be meddled with, so maybe ours shouldn't be meddled with this magic. Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's a good scene. I will say I was watching this with my wife, and she's like, "These two characters are being so stupid," and I was like, "No, you don't understand. They're both very proud and stubborn characters, and so this is a dwarf culture thing, and I think it's very well done because these characters, it's such a hard thing for them to admit they were wrong and to show emotion to each other in this way, and the fact that it had to come to this, and the way that these two actors handle it, I think is well done. And even during the third, he plays this off as like he makes a joke before he even like accepts and apologizes in his own way, and it's not even an apology. It's more like I treated you badly, and like an acknowledgement of it in a way. I think these actors do a great job here. I think this is a great scene of showing these two high society dwarves and trying to work through things, because we kind of see this with Gimli at the beginning, and eventually Gimli does come around to show more emotion, and I think that's really neat that we get to see the start of that, where like there's almost zero emotion in it. They both care for each other, but they can't let it show outwardly. So yeah, I like this scene, really well done. And yeah, the during the fourth is really showing why Elrond likes him. They're not just friends, like, you know, for no reason. Like, Elrond sees something in this guy, and now we see it too. This guy is wise more than he knows. His dad, on the other hand, has a tough decision, because even if the dad wants to respect his son's warning, what is he supposed to do? His people are starving, and the decision might not even be one that you truly fault him for, to say, yes, we will work with the elves. We need food. We need help. So it might not even be a corruption thing. When they're in the third, I should say, makes this decision, it might be like a necessity thing. Like, we have no choice. We either accept the elves' help and try their way, or we die in this mountain and this becomes a tomb. So yeah, some really dark stuff going on with the dwarves. I can't believe we only got one season of dwarven society functioning properly, and now we're right back to dwarven mountains collapsing and stuff. Is that just like the fate of all dwarf civilizations, that they always just fall apart? Like, what's going on here? All right, we get Isildur and Theo.
Theo is giving Isildur stitches from that stab wound he received earlier. So he's kind of taken on his mother's role as being the healer a bit.
Yeah. And also, like, is there a similarity between, I mean, not in other, like, Peter Jackson stuff, but within this show, I always thought there was a bit of a similarity between Theo and Isildur. They're both kind of screw-ups. Their parents are more respected in society than they are. They're kind of seen as, like, idiots.
Yeah, they kind of look alike, too.
Kind of look alike. They kind of act alike. They're very,
Yeah, there's parallels. Well, there's actually very on the nose parallels too, because
now
Theo's corrupted by the sword like Isildur was,
and both of their moms are now dead as we talk here, and they both died potentially saving their children.
Yeah, that's true.
So like we do have these parallels here. I do wonder what we get from that, because that means you can really explore stuff with Theo that then transfers over just by proxy to Isildur and vice versa. So it will be cool to see how if they're able to use that idea to its full advantage. And yeah, we're seeing Arondir here, and he's kind of struggling to find purpose now, which is an interesting character trait for an elf, I would say. And we don't really see elves too often. I mean, we see them like wanting to like make magic rings or make ships or something. Arondir's kind of at a loss, because he wasn't going to go back to the elves. He was content to literally become part of the human town and just like be an archer, be a hunter for the town or something, right? Like that's what he was
Yeah.
gonna do. And now without Bronwyn, he now kind of feels compelled to just like look after Theo, and like that's his whole goal. But it's not. It doesn't fulfill that elf. Like he's now reverting back to like an elf. Like he needs to have a purpose and go back to the elven lands and figure out what he needs to do now.
Yeah, there's nothing keeping him there anymore.
Other than Theo.
Yeah.
Like Theo,
yeah.
he kind of has like the sense like I gotta look after Theo for Bronwyn, like in the memory of Bronwyn in a way.
Yeah.
But Theo does not want that necessarily.
Yeah, they have a "you're not my dad."
You're not
type
my
thing
real
going
dad.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, "Yeah, you don't need to speak to me again. Our relationship burnt up in that pyre.
Yeah.
You don't need to speak to me."
I will say, all right. I hate on the dialogue from time to time. I think that's a great line. I think that's a well done delivery and a great line that tells us all we need to know. He is super bitter. He kind of blames him in a way for his mom's death a little bit, and blames himself most of all, but he does not like Arondir. He thinks that him and his mom were not he never was on board with it, but he was willing to respect it. Out of his mom's happiness, he was willing to accept it, but now that she is dead, he's like, get away from me. You I never really liked you.
Knife years.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that wasn't
you
him.
people.
That wasn't him. That was his friend. That was. But still, he was friends with this super racist guy. He probably should.
I mean, we should have mentioned that Isildur just blatantly asks Theo what happened to his mom, and then it is revealed that the arrow was poisonous. So
yeah,
that's how she died. Yeah.
Yeah. And we do get some of that backstory on Isildur's mom, right? So that's
that's a little later, yeah, but yeah,
that's like the next scene, right?
Yeah,
so
the campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, then they discussed the aqueduct too.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. So we can quickly touch on the aqueduct. That's kind of fun.
So this is where Theo and Isildur are together again, and they see this like water fountain thing, and Isildur explains to them it's an aqueduct. That they would build these things so you could have water come into your home. And Theo's like, men can't build such a thing. And then Isildur's like, in Numenor we can.
And then he's like, what? And then he's like, why did you leave? And he's like, I thought there was better things in Middle. That is not why you left. Okay, go. Hey, Isildur, go. Oh man, I hate this guy. Isildur, go watch season 1. That is not why you left. We know why. You heard a calling on the water, which was like telling you to go east. That's it. Like you didn't think there was something better here. You got yourself thrown off this ship, and then you like forced your way as a stowaway onto a ship, and then you became like the stable boy of the cavalry. You didn't think there was better things out here. I don't understand what he's talking about. See, they went from a great line like anything I had for you burned up on that pyre, to I came here thinking there was better things than in Numenor. No, you didn't think that. But I digress. Like that's I like the idea of the aqueducts though. Like they're really tapping into this whole Atlantis style, because like the whole Minoan civilization maybe being Atlantis and having running water prior to the Greeks being able to build it, and then the Roman Empire. So I like that idea. It's kind of fun.
Anyway, Theo offers that he can help find Beric, and then they'll meet later. And then so Isildur approaches this campfire where Estrid is sitting, and we see her. She's like heating this knife up, but then she puts it away quickly.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Try not to burn yourself."
Oh, good flirting, Isildur. Yeah, good job. You know what the ladies like.
So then he asks her, "Did you find your fiance?" And she hadn't, and then she talks about survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
And then this is when we get the story about Isildur and his mom.
That's right.
So he reveals that his mother actually drowned trying to save him when he swam out too far, and he got caught in a riptide. And only he knows that she died saving her, because he just told everyone else that she just drowned.
Yeah. Now I thought this was already maybe not established, but the way he acted and the way his dad talked about it, it did seem like his dad knew Isildur blamed himself. So like I had always just thought his mom died saving him. Now it's confirmed. So I don't know. Like to me, this wasn't even a big reveal. I had forgotten we didn't know this. I thought this the whole time. And Theo hears this story too.
He's crying. Yeah,
he's like creeping in the shadows, and he hears this story, and so now he's like, oh man, me and this guy, like, we have the exact same backstory, so we're friends now. We need to go rescue this guy's horse.
And then Isildur says he wants to do something great to honor her.
Yes.
So this is when Theo calls him, and well, then the girl says, "Well, you can't really, that's just a gift. You can't really make it up to her." But anyway, Theo calls Isildur, and Estrad goes back to heating the knife, and we figure out, we see that she has been branded too.
She's evil. So she, if we just saw the brand, that's one thing. The fact that she's reheating it means that she's
trying to erase it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a question of, is she trying to blend in as a spy, or is she like, she just did that to survive, and now that she's gotten out, she wants to.
Yeah, that's my question. So like, if I just had the brand, because I was forced to, I don't know if I would remove it myself like that. That's kind of insane. I think I would just be like, yeah, I did what I had to do. I just didn't want to get, like, they literally murder you if you don't kneel down right away. It's crazy over there. So like I wouldn't, I mean, obviously you're gonna be embarrassed by it, but I wouldn't be as upset to burn my own skin off. So yeah, I don't know if she is trying to remove it, or if she actually is trying to, like you said, blend in. I'm curious to see where this goes.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is this line that Isildur has about I want to do something great to like honor my mom's memory type of thought. That it's another way that it's an interesting. I mean, I already don't like Isildur. If I had liked him, that would have helped me get on board with him not throwing the ring away, because that might be his moment to say, hey, with this ring, I can do great things. And the ring might even speak to him in that manner. Like, hey, don't you want to honor your mom's memory? Well, if you don't destroy me, we can build great things. And so I can start to see how that tragedy might be the way the ring or Sauron like starts to get in his head, and corrupt him. So it's an interesting foreshadowing potentially down the road. Already though, Isildur has a lot of problems. There's already a lot of different ways that you can corrupt this guy. Like he's already corrupted. Like
Yeah.
Like he literally was like on a ship staring into the ocean, hearing like the ring vibrating. Like he hasn't even touched it yet, and he's already corrupted by it. So I'm kind of confused what they want to do with this character, because I hate him. I don't know anyone. Do you like him? Like, I'm just curious, because I don't know anyone who likes him.
No, I actually don't hate him. No, I'm interested in.
But you don't have an issue, like, he got his friends kicked off of his friends wanted to be sailors. They got kicked out. He then forced them to join the army. He almost got them. He got one of his friends who wanted to settle down, got killed in the war that he kind of bullied him into joining.
Yeah, I think it's his arc, though. I think.
But we know the end of his arc. So what? Like, are you saying he's gonna become good and then get re-corrupted? Like he gets corrupted. I thought he was going to be good and get corrupted. He's terrible. he's. Let me put it this way: would you want him as a friend? Is he?
No, I wouldn't. No. But I mean, I was gonna say, even him just asking Theo, "Hey, what happened to her?"
Yeah,
that is insensitive.
That's terrible. It's terrible. The way he speaks to his dad, his sister, like, it's horrible. And so okay, I'm not saying I hate the actor, because I actually like this actor, to be honest. I just think that they've made this character kind of a douchebag, and I don't know why. Like, you can make him have these torments internally without making him just like a nasty person and like not good to be around. like he's mean to his friends, he's mean to his family, he just does whatever he wants, and like we now see that he is struggling with this internal problem that he feels responsible for his mom's death and needs to find a way to bring her memory some good in the world by doing a big show in recognition of his mom. But that's not enough for me to like how he's been treating people. Now he did try to give that old man some water and then it was a trap, sure, but just other things, just like everything leading up to that, he's just not been a good person. So I'm kind of curious how they want to play this character going forward, or if this is maybe a turning point where he starts to start acting better because him and Theo might bond and kind of grow as people together. I don't know. I'm struggling to figure out where they're trying to take this character, because his friends are way better than him. Like his friend back in Numenor when he was like standing up for the queen, that was cool. That's a cool dude right there. And this guy, like, I don't know. It's just not. It's like night and day. But Theo is in the same boat. I actually like Theo more because Theo at least seems more like he wants to just be a good person, but he is struggling. Like he also has a youthful vigor about him. He is like has a playful nature. That's how he got entangled with the sword in the first place. And he also is a bit rebellious, and he also had issues with his stepdad, like Arondir. So he had these other things that like made more sense why he might be acting out. But with Isildur, he comes from a high society type family, and he's kind of a screw up, and then he's on top of that. That's sympathetic, but then he's just mean to people. He's just not a good dude to people. I don't know. I don't know what to do with this guy yet, so we will see if they're able to turn him around. But yeah, so we see his new girlfriend trying to erase the brand on her back, and he is off to rescue his horse. Luckily they know where this camp is, right? I think she tells them, or
no.
How do they get this camp location?
Theo just knows.
Theo knows.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is Theo a spy?
I don't know.
So Theo just knows the camp. I thought it would be more important. Like a better way is have her know and say, like, I saw a camp over here, and then we see the brand, and it's like, oh, is she part of that camp? Like that might be a better way to do it. Anyway, so Theo knows, and they're just gonna go and steal this horse. But Theo, the plan is okay. Is the plan this? Theo is gonna go and pretend to join them as Isildur takes his horse back, and then they're both gonna run away.
Well, I thought it looked like Isildur was just gonna sneak up and grab it, but then he's failing. So Theo swoops in to distract them, and he's like, "Oh, hey, can I join you by your fire?"
Yeah, I'm one of you, and he's got. Okay, you know what? The writers are starting to cook. They got some good lines. So when Theo is like, I'm one of you. I'm one of the Adar people, and they're like, show us your mark, and then he shows them the sword mark, and they're like, that's not Adar's mark, and he's like, this mark means I've done more for him than any of you ever did. That's such a killer line. Like that's so true. Without him and Waldrig, there is no, like, that orcs fail. Like, like he actually did do more than these like random people. And again, what are these people doing? Like, I know that they got branded for Adar. There is nothing for them there. If they actually like,
yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, like they're halfway to society. Like Adar has given them free reign to go into the woods. They could just leave. These aren't slaves. Yeah. How are they brainwashed by Adar? He hates humans.
Yeah, they lost their humanity very quickly. I'm not sure it makes sense. Yeah.
But no, I just love that line of like, this mark means I've done more for him than you guys ever did. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so dialogue is picking up. I'm finding some good moments that I might actually quote. That's one of them.
And then they're suspicious of him, and they think he's from Pelargir. He looks too well fed. And then there's some chaos. He shoots through the seal door and start attacking. I think it's Ents.
Yeah, so something happens. It's not really clear. Like it kind of looks like you said. It's probably Ents because they're in the forest and like people are like going flying. But yeah, it's not exactly clear. And again, So you're right. So I think the plan was Isildur just simply steal the horse. He fumbles it, and then
Could we get a? Do you think we could get a Treebeard as a character in here, or would
I think
that
we
be-
could. No, I think we. Well, wait. Do they? I forget. We covered this, but it keeps changing. Do they have the? I think they have the rights to the full text of the.
So they would be able to use Treebeard.
Yeah,
then, 'cause
because
he's from the
he is a
original.
character. Because that's how they got Bombadil. He's also in it.
Yeah.
So they have the text. I think they could use Treebeard. Now, the problem is, Treebeard from the trilogies is using quotes from Bombadil. So it'll be interesting that if they have both those kids, because we haven't even seen Tom yet. I can't wait till we do an episode with Tom Bombadil on the screen.
Yeah.
You guys all know how I feel about Tom Bombadil. So, yeah, I'm hoping we do get to see a Treebeard, or at least a Treebeard-esque. I know they probably want to do their own thing. Writers always want to put their own stamp on it. I would like that. It would be a nice nod to the fans. I know the fans are not that receptive right now, but I think you still got to make these olive branches, and you gotta try and get them back on. And the Tom Bombadil one is a huge one. I mean, all these people that hating on Rings of Power, at least it's giving you Tom Bombadil, something Peter Jackson never did. Now, I think he was right, but still, like Peter Jackson, no Tom Bombadil. Also, Peter Jackson didn't let Legolas kill a Nazgul. Like,